and the land is dark, and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. Oh, I won't be afraid. Just
Welcome friends. Welcome to Online Rebels Meetup collaborating with Toronto Philosophy Meetup. Open discussion, open microphone discussion where we'll be talking about shopping. And our title for today is What are murder hornets and how much toilet paper do we need to buy? So we'll try to do our best on playing with this metaphor. I would like to just remind you that I will go ahead and unmute all of us because we are not too crowded today. And I will ask you to either, you can use your raise hand, you can raise your real hand, or just go ahead and use the raise hand button too. Okay, so you are all unmuted now, and I have a couple of questions, but I don't think I will be needing because I think we all have our titles. Before we start now, I suggest we all find a way to find the empathy and be ready to listen. Let's resonate with our heart rates and us seeing on the screen. So this is our way to communicate. So I suggest we all find our heart rates, listen to our heart rates for at least 2 breaths now, and be curious on what are we gonna talk today. So I have, can you see my slide now? Okay, you can. Okay, how do we shop? Who would like to go first, friends? I would really like to open up the conversation for shopping, and let's hear each other. If you would like to start from the before COVID shopping habits or current shopping habits. Does anybody like to go first? Go ahead, Lucy. Oh, we can't hear you. Why can't we hear you?
Okay, here we go. There you go. I'm done. Pre-COVID, no, you go to, I usually would shop, 3-4 times a week, go out on lunch, pick up a few things. Then COVID hit. I was able to maybe go out just once a week for fruits and vegetables, and sort of made do with a lot of different things. I didn't hoard. I didn't feel there was a need for toilet paper, flour, and yeast. So I managed okay. And still now, although some things have started to open, I do make all my own food. I unfortunately don't trust picking up, having food ordered, and then even just the delivery of it. So, you know what? It's a little more. I feel more challenging because I only go out even every few weeks with fruits and vegetables. I'll buy frozen fruit, frozen vegetables, and fresh fruit. Stuff that's going to last a little longer, like oranges and tangerines. So, I think it's changed for me because I like fresher, meat or fish, but you sort of have to make do with what is going on around you.
What do you What do you think? Anybody would like to chime in?
Is anyone else here?
Yeah, we have people.
No, I don't. Everyone's shy.
I think we're all shoppers. Go ahead, Jeannie. Hi.
I just shopping overall has become a little bit more stressful than used to be because you have to start planning. I don't know. I'm in Texas, and Costco, for example, had early hours for senior people, and I'm one of the seniors. So I go there thinking, oh, it shouldn't be so crowded. Well, whoa, it was very crowded, and I ended up waiting for an hour and a half just to get inside the store. And I found that whole experience to be so stressful. And with, I shouldn't be listening to news, for example, but I have been listening to news. So overall, I feel like stress level of myself has been going up and up and up and up for the last couple of months, and it's really challenging to me. But I'm trying to get better. Mind over body, deep breathing.
Yeah.
And so we really do have to talk to ourselves to try and calm down, think more positively about whatever thoughts, all these dark thoughts that run through your mind. Mm-hmm. And it really does make your existence different. Yeah. But so far, I have enough food in my house, so I think I'm going to be okay for a couple of months.
That's nice to know. So we don't have to do shopping stops to Texas from Toronto now, Jeannie.
Care packages.
Yeah.
So anybody would like to share? I don't see raise hand buttons yet. Go ahead, Peter. Yes, are you muted? It seems like you are not, but we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay, here.
Sorry. Yeah. Well, we always fresh food shop here anyway. It's not like when I was growing up in Toronto, where, my parents and I would go out, like once or twice a week, buy a lot of stuff, a lot of frozen food stuff and everything. Big refrigerators, all of that kind of thing. We don't do that here. Mostly it's fresh food shopping. And I think it's a lot healthier here in a lot of ways. Fresh food, vegetables, and all those things are all in the front of the store, not Coca-Cola or things like that. All of the things that you really need that are fresh are all in the front of the store. You go to the back of the store to get canned stuff and other things. So it's pretty good. I go out most days, do my shopping. My wife, she buys her things for cooking, and I do the specialty things that I want. When going back in February, way back to February, suddenly, when this was really getting rolling, the whole problem, suddenly all of the masks were gone. As you may know, Japan is the home of the mask, right?
Masks.
Right?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. This is the place famous for masks, and suddenly in February they were all gone. You couldn't get them anymore, and you couldn't get hand sanitizers either. No. It's just gone. And people are a lot smarter than I was, I guess, because I didn't know what was going on. I just went into the store and I was asking around, and no availability. And when they did become available, they were expensive. Expensive for these masks, which used to be pretty cheap, suddenly became expensive. But then gradually they became more and more available. So now I get these masks now. I get 10 of these for about equal to like $7. And I wash them with soap.
Clever.
That's, yeah, well, but that's kind of limited usage too. But I don't think people are hoarding very much now. I mean, things have gotten a lot better here now. But I mean, when we go shopping, we do the thing, everything is plastic sheeting between you and the staff. And you see the footsteps marked on the road leading into the store. And it's the same if you go to a Starbucks. Starbucks is open here now again. And you just follow the footsteps in a line. And people are very, very good here. Nobody breaks it. I mean, Japanese are very orderly. So nobody breaks the lineup or anything like that. Everybody follows through in the line very, very nicely. So it's pretty good.
Nice.
That's nice to hear. You keep your health, Peter, and your family.
Thank you. Yeah, we're fine. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I have to say, in Toronto, in my particular neighborhood, if people were like the people that you had met, Peter, respectful for what the government was trying to encourage us to do, and understand that it's, whether you believe in it or not, you can infect other people, and it's for that reason you wear a mask and glove and you do your distancing, right? And I find in my neighborhood, a lot of people aren't doing that, and they get so close to me they could see the label size in my shirt, which caused me to feel like Ginny, terrified, because I do have a very extreme health issue that has made me extremely high risk for not only getting COVID, but dying from it should I get it within the first 6 hours of being diagnosed. So I've been actually home since the beginning of February, isolating for medical reasons. And I shop incredibly online because I'm scared to go out, as Jenny said. It's not that I can't protect myself, it's because people aren't paying attention and being respectful for how to protect everybody, right? It's, yes, giving up your social rights for the benefit of the good. And a lot of people aren't feeling that way, which causes me to hibernate. So things that I wouldn't ordinarily buy, like a box of Ziploc bags, I now get, from Amazon. And I would never ordinarily do that because it is, just go out and I get it. But I'm much more mindful about things that I do now because I'm so terrified of getting sick, and perhaps I'm going to give something to somebody else. And so I stay home. I just stay home, and eventually things will change and things will go back, and some things will change forever and some things will be modified. Who knows when that will be? But for me, I do shop. I've always shopped online, but just for clothes, because I make most of my own clothing as a hobby. But now I do a lot more, probably everything shopping online, just because, as Ginny so well said, it's terrifying for me to go out. Because people just, for every one person, I come across 6 who not wearing gloves, not wearing masks, which is fine, but they're also not following the lines on the floor. So I went to my pharmacy, who is not delivering prescriptions anymore, to pick up one of my prescriptions, and the pharmacist was standing there in like a full-on Ebola suit, and they had the plexiglass, and I'm going there to get my prescription, and there's all the lines on the floor, and a woman not gloved or masked goes right up to pharmacist, and she's holding a bottle of Tylenol, 2 bottles, and she's asking him, like, which one do I need for a sprained wrist? And he's saying, okay, well, first of all, somebody was in front of you, and second of all, somebody was in front of you, and it was just mind-boggling. And she was so frustrated with his response to not taking her as a priority. So that's what terrifies me and keeps me at home.
Are you getting any explosions of temper like I see sometimes online in the United States? I hope not.
Absolutely. I was at the pharmacist, and a gentleman was coughing, and I don't know, he probably just had a random cold, but I'm super sensitive now because of my immune system. I have stage 4 kidney failure, so I'm high risk for a lot of things. And he was coughing and whatever, And he was right next to me, and I said, "Oh, not to be disrespectful to you all." He called me a bitch and a cunt. He said, "I don't have to listen to this desk." He said, "First of all,"
Oh, we're losing.
it was insane. So that kind of explosion for who don't, there's a lot of different ideologies out there, and I don't care what you believe. I just have to care about myself. So I just stay home. I'm not interested in educating other people or be evangelical about it. I don't really care. I just need to protect.
That's so disappointing to hear you say that.
Yeah.
Well, do you have a balcony? Can you get fresh air?
I live in a house, so I go outside and, you know, whatever, but, you know, I take care of myself and I'm upbeat and so on and so forth, but it's just a lot of people just aren't taking it seriously, right? They're just not. We had, I think, Lucy and I live in the same city, and they opened up the parks, and we had a lovely hot day this weekend. And they opened up the parks, and you're supposed to do social distancing. And Lucy, how many?
I think there was 10,000.
You tell the story.
There was 10,000 people. Not social distancing was being respected. There was not one glove. There was not one mask.
Just lying in the sun in the park.
But everybody thought that that they should be there. And then the worst thing was that you need to imagine, and eating, they're going to need to use restrooms. Well, they decided that the neighbors' lawns were where they should urinate and defecate. Like, that's illogical.
Now, Lucy, tell the group members about the doctor who, after that, what he said. You did it so good.
Oh, I'm sure everyone's heard it. There was a gentleman who was celebrating Eid, and he basically commented that he was not able to see his family and his children.
The doctor, the local hospital.
The doctor. Yeah, and he basically equated that Eid to our Christmas. And he said, well, you are suntanning and enjoying all of this freedom. Well, like, basically, what about my freedom? What about me seeing my family? He's on the front lines helping to cure, save, deal with everyone who's walking in sick. So, and absolutely, he's so right. So right.
And then the next day, the premier of Ontario said everybody who was in that bar needed to go get tested, because they're saying now you could be asymptomatic, right? And the transfer is 1 for every 3 people. So for every 1 person that has it, by the time, if they're asymptomatic, they can give it to 3 to 4 other people.
How is it for you to get tested there if you just want to get tested?
You can't. You can only get tested if your doctor says that you fall in line with certain symptoms. But I was tested in February by my doctors, because they're critical care doctors, just to make sure that I was asymptomatic and free from it. But you still can't go, right, Lucy? You just can't.
No, I think after the last weekend, because it was Saturday, the event. After Saturday, you can now go into the COVID testing stations and be tested.
Even if you don't have symptoms?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can. And because now also, one, because of the opening, but secondly, people are having to now start going back to work. Certain professions, they want to make sure that, especially medical, dental, that you're not already starting off. Someone can be asymptomatic and still have the virus. So you need to go and get tested. And people need to know. So the premier says, go and get tested.
Lucy, where do you go for testing?
Yeah.
Oh, there's several locations. So if you go online You just can look up, I think, under toronto.ca COVID testing. And I think for me, for example, I live Queen and Dufferin, so I could go to St. Joe's Hospital.
Yeah, I mean, it's changing all the time, just because, as Peter so correctly said, there's not a universal supply for anything. I know I was trying to support one of the hospitals in my city, and the director was telling me that they go through 5,000 gloves a day at this one hospital.
Oh, did we lose the connection now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay, I think there was a time.
Just so whoever has done the test, how easy is it to do the test? Is it quite, you go in, you wait just like in a normal, if you were just like checking into a hospital waiting to see a doctor, you get the test, and is it a long formality, or is it quite easily and painlessly done?
It's a blood
I'm not sure.
It's a blood test, but like if you had strep throat, have you ever had strep throat?
No.
No. Have you?
A swab.
So, you know, it's like, it's whatever, if they do it through blood, but they have to wait for the blood to be what's called cultured. You have to grow it, right? So that takes a certain amount of time, which is why in the news, or perhaps in the States, they were trying to figure out test days to get the bacteria to form to either positive or negative. Now, you know, they're trying to get that faster, because they would send you home unless you were hugely symptomatic, right? Fever, respiratory issues, and then they would probably keep you in ICU. But the problem was that the hospitals were overburdened, right? You have all your regular patients, all the people coming in from accident and emergency for their issues, and now you have these people. So the system was overburdened, which was part of the problem of why they wanted you to stay home, because I think April, 80% of all cases were surface transferred, which means you touch something, you got it from somebody. It wasn't just somebody breathing on you or you catching drop, right?
So can you get a test? Is it getting to a point where you can go in and get a test and you can find out, say, within an hour or something?
No.
No, you have to grow. The culture has if you have a bladder infection, you give a urine sample, have to grow a culture. Yeah, same kind of thing.
So at least 24 hours, right, Jennifer?
More.
Oh, okay.
A friend of mine had to be tested because his secretary was positive. So he went in, for example, he and his wife went in on a Thursday, and Sunday they got their test results. They got a phone call on a Sunday.
Well, my son went to Loblaws, which is here a huge grocery store, right? Like a Costco. And I don't know how, but 3 employees tested positive for COVID. So I don't know if they phone called or however they found everybody. And they said, we can't test you all, so stay home for the next 2 weeks unless you get symptomatic. It was insane, because he was supposed to come over and do something. He goes, Mom, I can't because I was at Loblaws and I have to stay home because these were tested positive for the virus.
Yeah. Well, thank you for all the information about testing, because it seems like it's out there, but we didn't know. We don't know too much about.
Well, I think also it's changing rapidly, like Lucy was saying. They do this when they know that, and then when it changes and the information changes, then they have to obviously, you know, it's like a boxing match, right? You're moving depending on what's coming at your face.
Yeah.
As long as there's progress being made.
Absolutely. In the right way. It's moving forward, things are being done, and it's, you know, it's a thing.
So I suggest let's go back to shopping now. This was a shopping of information. Thank you very much.
And
Jennifer
Eva,
and Lucy.
I'm going to have to say goodbye to everybody because
Okay.
I've got to go
Nice
now.
You
But
see,
it was great.
Nice
It was
seeing
great.
you, Peter.
Yeah, see you
Bye.
next time. Thank you very much,
stay
everyone.
well.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Be well. So I heard Ginny and Lucy talking about, and Peter also talking about fruits and vegetables. Like I have this kind of like survey, like kind of like a verbal survey. I usually ask people for the first shopping experience after the pandemic started. What was that thing you wanted to go and buy for yourself?
I'm afraid I need to leave as well. I'm sorry.
Okay, okay, Ginny. Bye.
Nice to see you.
Nice seeing you. See you next time. So what is it like in that crisis of shopping pandemic? Like what did you want to buy? Jay, would you like to go? We can't hear you now. Can you try speaking, Jay?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Jay?
Yeah.
What did I want to buy? I think I stocked up. You know, I stocked up on grains, rice and flour and those sorts of things. That was my inclination.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know, I didn't overdo it on the toilet paper and all that stuff. But I did stock up, and I was in the habit of shopping, say every couple of days. Every 2 or 3 days. And my habit changed dramatically to shopping once a week. And so all of a sudden I had to buy at least a week's worth, and maybe 2 weeks worth. And so that's kind of what happens. So larger quantities of food all at once.
Mm-hmm. Any other ideas? What did you wanted to buy when you go out for shopping with the pandemic?
I stocked up on crackers. I don't know why. I don't really eat, but I thought just in case. That was the only thing. Crackers.
Okay, Lucy, I've been asking this question to a lot of people, and crackers is the unique answer. It's my first time hearing that.
Yeah, I don't eat crackers.
Any ideas why crackers?
I just thought, I guess maybe I thought that that's something that I could snack on if there wasn't something else. Like I don't really buy bread. I don't really eat, pastas maybe.
Well, that's the problem right there, Lucy. Those two things.
I know.
Honestly, I think seriously.
Yeah, I don't know crackers. I figured I could have crackers and cheese. I could live on that. I always have cheese in my house. So maybe that, like I don't have, and I have all the crackers, like I've opened up one package in 2 months. I can sell you crackers. Who needs crackers?
One thing I bought, you reminded me now, is I live near the Mondelez factory outlet in East York, and so I stocked up on chocolate.
Well,
right?
that's like a necessity right there.
I bought a case of chocolate, a whole case.
How come?
Well, you can't go without chocolate.
You
right?
can, nor you. You be quiet if I don't eat pasta.
I don't know, but I don't eat chocolate.
You don't, what?
I don't eat, no, you know what? I'm savory. I like more salty than I do sweet.
You know what? Put your dog on the video. You're fired. He has the cutest dog. Put turning on.
I don't know if you can.
We don't like your answers.
I know. I'm sorry, but I have to tell you.
Okay, she has cracker. Jennifer, be careful. She has the cracker. We know where the crackers are, so
that's it. No, but I'll tell you. I learned how to make pizza dough. right? I made, what else did I learned to make the gnocchi that I've already told you. It's a little potato dumpling. And I have everything to make bread, but I have to wait. I have to wait 2 weeks before I can make the bread because I want to eat some, right? So got to space it out.
Mm. Well,
And
I have
hopefully
a
I'm not,
question.
Do you not own sweatpants?
oh, no, yeah, I do, but I don't want to get into them, Jen. I don't want to expand and have to go buy the next size up.
Okay. Your life is boring, whatever.
I'm sorry. Well, I have to say, like most people have put on 10 pounds. I've taken off 10 pounds, but that's because I worked at it. So that's the difference. No
Okay.
chocolate there, Jay. No chocolate for this girl.
So
Now,
I have a question for Jay, actually.
Oh, no.
Jay, tell us
Yes.
about the chocolates. Like, can you
Well,
explain?
you can't
Like, what
have
does
any
it feel like? What did you, were you happy with that?
because it's gone. The whole case is gone, right? So
Mhm.
sorry, it's gone. The whole case it vanished. It just disappeared.
But you
oh my
could describe
goodness.
how delicious it was, how it melted, did it have things inside? Don't be stingy with the adjectives, Jay. Not everybody bought a box of chocolates.
Well, we
No, no,
might
it was
or
a
we
good
might not
chocolate.
have. We don't know.
Give us a rating. Give us a rating.
Well, it was just milk chocolate. It wasn't really nice dark chocolate or anything. It was just
Mm.
milk chocolate. But um, I've been going on long hikes in the forest where there's no people, so I'm not going to
Mhm.
tell Lucy where it is. You know, right? Unless Lucy brings crackers, then
I'll bring
so,
crackers and cheese, and
yeah.
wine obviously has to go with that.
You have a complete Parisian meal right there.
There you go. That's it.
So
That's it.
these chocolates went hiking with me, and they didn't come back.
They got lost in the forest.
They got lost in the forest. That's right. That's right. So every Sunday, I've been doing probably 10 or 15 kilometers, up in the forest somewhere where there's no people. And yeah, the chocolate traveled well, but it's gone. And what they've done though is they've closed the factory outlet since then.
Because you bought it all?
Yeah. Well, probably for safety reasons. The Mondelez factory produces lots of crackers, and so probably for safety reasons to protect the factory, they've closed the outlet. Yeah. Sadly.
So, Jay, I'm curious, how would you define that? Like, yeah, we all wanted to laugh. I mean, personally, I just wanted to forget that I got chocolates or ice creams too. And I was just asking myself, like, is this what I really want to buy? But I can reach to snacks, and I'm home. I want to enjoy my time. So what is the feeling there? Like, is it like coping shop with shopping? It's definitely no panic shopping. Buying chocolate is not a panic shopping. What do you think?
No, I don't really eat it. I don't eat snacks in the house, right? So for me, that's something to put in the backpack and outside with. So things like nuts and chocolate and are things you eat. For me, things that I eat while being outside and walking and so on. Yeah, that's how I consume. That's how I consume those sorts of snacks. I don't eat it.
So I wonder if it was like you were shopping for a soul food or like a comfort food.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah, comfort food. Yeah, because one of the things if you're out, like like where I was, there's no people. It's funny because usually when when I'm out, you can stop at Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
Or you can stop, somewhere, but there's nothing open. There's no washrooms, right? There's nowhere to get a snack of any kind. And so in terms of comfort food, you have to carry it with you if you want to eat that day when you're away from home. So you can either eat at home or nowhere, or carry it with you. But there's nowhere to get any sort of food out there. And even if there was, I'm not sure if I would feel safe stopping.
That's right.
That's so last decade of you, Jay.
So actually, is this, can we say it like this, Jay? So you gained that habit of providing your comfort food or just like soul food in a plan. So you shop and you plan that and you carry it with you. So this is a new COVID-19 habit for you.
Yeah, and so
I was after that. Yeah, I want to know like how people have changed, and are you happy with the new?
So it's quite a nice ritual because there's a box of crackers, Lucy, and chocolate and nice things, nice variety of dried foods, and you sit on a rock in the middle of the forest somewhere, and you have a snack, and hopefully the sun is shining, and there's no one around for miles, and it feels good. It feels good. You see, the feeling for me, I feel claustrophobic in the city, right? I mean, I have lots of space myself, but the feeling is claustrophobia to me, and so it's important for me to be able to enjoy some freedom, at least one day a week, where I can go. When I walk down the sidewalk, I'm kind of a bigger guy, and people, kind of step, it's, it's kind of strange now, isn't it? People don't want to walk close to each other, and the sidewalk feels crowded. I don't know if you have that feeling, but I do.
Yeah.
And so if I'm away where there's no people, I feel more freedom, and then we can sit and enjoy a snack, and as well, I've got 3 ladies here listening. I shouldn't tell you this story, but last weekend we were out, me and my son, who's 15, and he had to pee, right? And there's nowhere to stop, ladies, right? There's nowhere to stop. Like, once you're away from home, there's nowhere to stop. If you've been around, and so we were out there, and it was a bit busier where we were, and boy, we were desperate, and so for me, and so for me, that adds to that sense of claustrophobia in a strange way, right? I feel tight. There's people around, and so they need to kind of get away, and enjoying some food and that comfort that we can just sit and relax, and we're by ourselves, and just enjoy that. And the snack is part of that ritual now. To be able to do that. It's really very, very nice. Yeah.
Try some nuts.
We do nuts, chocolate, crackers. We have a little we have a little mix of things, and just enjoy that.
Well, no, now as we start to maybe get out a little bit more, it's true. Like, if I've gone visiting and I know I'm only going to be on the outside of someone's house, I pack what I think I need for me and my dog. Water, I pack a fruit. You can't drink too much water because then you've got to go. And you're right. Like then I'm usually a long way from home. So, it's not like I'm going to stop at a gas station. Like I would
not
never
anymore,
do that. No. I would, never. Those places are hideous. But like life has changed. Like life has changed. And it's going to be changed for more than likely forever. We're going to have to find new norms.
The interesting thing is that if you have a food issue, you are always with your own food. People, lots of issues, right? So like me, for example, snacks, and I always have them in my car, in my purse when I'm working and I feel hungry, because I can't just go to Tim Hortons and buy something, or Starbucks, or this or that, because I can't eat that food. So it's interesting how so many people are figuring out the lives of other people who have restrictions, and getting into that knowledge where, wow, that's really hard. You can't just do whatever you want. And food now, we're such a food focused society where so much of our socialization is around food. Let's go for coffee. Let's go for this, right? We've gotten away from doing, what Jay's doing. Let's go for a walk and smell Mother Nature and hear the birds and feel the air and all that kind of stuff. We're so food is at the center, which is why I like these meetups, because they're not around going to a restaurant or around an activity, right? They're doing something. And I think, as Lucy said, people are realizing that it's okay to take your stuff with you, because that's what we did in the 80s, right? You didn't have all of these drive-through things. We've become so spoiled and such a luxurious life, right?
Yeah.
And when you work with kids whose parents can't afford bananas, you have an appreciation of the luxury of food.
Jennifer, I had to stop your video because you were losing connection. So feel free to start your video now. I think your connection is better.
Yeah, it's one of those days.
So that brings me to the question, like, if the pandemic is over, do you think you will be keeping the same shopping habits you have now, or how will shopping be like for you? What do you think?
I will keep up with what I've adopted to now, because I still think that there's no vaccine. I'm still going to think about my safety. So nothing will change for me. And if I go back to work, which is going to be probably in a couple of weeks, no, I will go to work, but I will come straight home, because, there's people still, the virus is still spreading. We haven't even plateaued, let alone a dip. So I'm still going to be super careful for myself.
And Lucy, don't you think it's not only about food? If you're eating, it's about the washroom too, if you're out.
Right.
Well, yeah, so I carry always water, like 1.5 liters of water, and water for the dog. And so, but the problem, you're right, is even though the last couple of Saturdays I've gone visiting people, but the problem is I'm not drinking, because then I think, oh my God, I know I'm going to have to use the washroom, and I don't want to go into anybody's house. Like today I had a friend come and we stayed on my porch. Luckily, she didn't say, can I use your washroom? Because unfortunately, I probably would have said no. Like nobody's come into my home, and she's coming from work. So the thing was that I know she's probably fine, but I probably would have had to be a really bad friend and say, go home quick, get home. Right?
Well, some people use backyards. You said you gave that story.
Well, yeah, this was surrounding homes around Trinity Bellwood Park. So yeah, you know what? Listen, the least of our problems is our food, guys. We're so fortunate. That's the last. I could eat an egg, right? We could eat eggs. I've always got eggs.
Eggs are not
food is.
Eggs are not chocolate, and chocolate is not pizza. So.
I know, but you're like, see, you're talking to the girl that doesn't eat sweets.
Yourself.
Oh, I love it. Oh, you know what? Whatever I just did now, I see you all. I finally got you. And then I was told that I couldn't do the gallery because I'm on my cell phone. Yeah. But food is the last of the problem. I think it's just, for me, I live alone with a dog, but, isolation, right? Because really it's only been the last 2 weeks that I've started to, on Saturday, the weather's so beautiful that I, get myself cleaned up and I head over to see friends, but they're on their porches and I'm on their grass. So we're still at least that social distancing. It's not the same, but it's better than doing the WhatsApp. Like we've done WhatsApp drinks and dinners, but really, I'm done with that as well, right? You ser- at a certain point, you need to really have that contact where you can see people, right? But you know what? When you're going out, you dress a little differently. So it would be nice. It would be nice to be able to throw on something really nice, and like one day I put makeup, mascara since February.
And I think
right?
you should be up.
Yeah, I was saying, good God, get her back to work. I need the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one thing that's changed for me is I went to Canadian Tire on Monday, I guess, and I bought a lot at once, so I wouldn't have to go back. I spent a couple $100 on this and that. But I was more aware. Unlike Jennifer, like I eat street food. I'll eat anything, and I'm like a dog, I just eat, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I seem to have become more aware of how grimy and dirty places are. I guess because I'm not in Starbucks all the time or these places. I seem to have become more aware of that. And everyone's touching everything, and I think for me, to your question, I think that's changed for me, right? I think I'm much more sensitive to cleanliness and space around me. And I don't think that's going to change for me. I think I'll remain more aware of that. Even aside from the virus, flus and colds and dirt and dust and so on. I think I'm much more aware. And like I said, I'm getting dirty every weekend. It's, I don't mind getting dirty, but I seem to be more aware now of public life.
And I think that's really important. As somebody who works with children with developmental delays and physical issues, they're highly susceptible to germs. And so when we're at school, we are just, as clean as we can be. And I think that that's a good awareness for people to have, is respect for your environment, right? If you blow your nose, throw out the tissue, wipe your hands, do the blowing in your elbow, just don't hear about it. And I hope that sticks, because it's really important to think of other people and hygiene and cleanliness. And we've all read the articles about service workers not washing their hands after they toilet in restaurants. It's a thing. It is a thing. And I think we're becoming more aware, some people, and some people won't care. And I think that that's all a good thing, because we have to protect our immune systems and our environments and Mother Nature and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's a good awareness to have.
So what does it say us? Oh, go ahead, Lucy.
No, go ahead.
So what does it say to us now? Because I've been having this conversation with a lot of people from a lot of backgrounds and a lot of age groups, very diverse groups. So I hear all of us, we are talking about shopping in a better, more high quality agenda of self-awareness, and maybe even like minding about what's around us. And Jennifer, you already have an understanding and habits of your own on how to provide your daily food that was already there before COVID-19. But it seems like we are getting to understand the value of receiving something. And maybe would you say what comes with any other feelings that comes with that receiving?
Receiving
the things that you need, receiving a food or receiving a chocolate or cheese. But now all of a sudden you can't go and buy a chocolate whenever you want. So you plan.
Yeah.
And maybe we appreciate, do we appreciate more when you, I mean, chocolate buyer, Mr. J, do you appreciate more?
I call them COVID bandwagoners.
Okay.
People who believe in the COVID when it's convenient for them. Oh, you know what? I can get my groceries delivered from my neighborhood store because it's COVID. That's great. But if they want to go for a walk or go to the park, oh, I don't believe in COVID. And I think, you know, part of what Lucy was saying, eventually, when we plateau, when there's control, there will come trust. We will go back to trusting. I trust that my friend Jay is going to give me a chocolate and he hasn't spat on his hands to give it to me, right? Because that's the trust we had before. Trust. Yeah. I'm going into a public place. It is as clean as possible. The community cannot keep their physical places as clean as a hospital. Look at the LTCs. They're not. So, you know, eventually it's going to come to trust and, you know, in my community and the people who are servicing me, because otherwise you're going to have a physical, psychological break from reality, because your brain can only carry so much stress. You're going to have to trust, right? It's what we do as humans. We have to trust. And when you don't trust, then you take it upon yourself to fill in the gaps and have trust that you're doing the best that you can. But we can't all walk around like surgeons going into an operating room. It's not normal, it's not feasible, and it's not healthy. Because it, as Jay says, creates an environment of distrust, which doesn't help us as a civilization. We're supposed to work together, come together, be all for one, right? Not isolationism, which is what's happening now, right? It's going to have to change, otherwise it's just going to be, you know, suicide rates are up already, developmental mental issues are up significantly, substance abuse is up significantly because of this isolationism and this fear, and it has to change, or rather I want it to change.
Thank you, Jennifer. Any ideas? I think you have an answer now, Jay.
Yeah, Jennifer's point about I think trust is important. I don't feel that I mistrust people. It's more that I mistrust big things. I mistrust corporations and I mistrust the government. But I'm also not downtown. You know, I'm more further out in the suburbs, and most people that I associate with are being very, very responsible about this whole thing. You know, and very, very concerned about the elderly and children and people who are vulnerable. Yeah, most of the people I know are being very, very careful about that. People are working at home, and back to shopping. Their shopping habits have changed, just like mine have. You know, it's kind of once a week, or it's online shopping. You know, that kind of thing. I think, though, as a businessman, I think we're concerned. People that I deal with are concerned about the supply chain, about the reliability of especially food, right? The supply of meat is continually threatened. You've seen the stories in the news about that, and the supply of other foods is in trouble as well, right? There's shortages of various kinds popping up that are concerning, right? But in a more fun way, my son picked up this morning that Cool Ranch Doritos. Do you know what a Cool Ranch Dorito is?
Yes.
Delicious, I'm sure.
Of course.
Yeah, okay. Well, they're absent from the stores, right? And it's been a big mystery. Yes, yeah, you can't get Cool Ranch Doritos right now, and so
I have a bag I can sell you.
Oh, well, you know what? It's a collector's item.
I'm just teasing you.
But why though? Why that flavor? Why
Well,
that?
well, what
Why
they've
that?
done is they've realized that snacking rates have gone up tremendously, and in order to maintain supplies, they've cut out flavors of crackers, of cookies, of chips, all the manufactured foods. If you look at the grocery store closely, you're missing flavors and sizes, that kind of thing. Because what they've done is they've they've streamlined their manufacturing processes to make more quickly, and so they've cut out some of the options.
And
So
also,
yeah,
we
go ahead.
need 100 different flavors of potato chips. I seriously, right? Like, it's like, do we really need to go to get a big gulp and get 62 ounces of regular Coke? I mean, like, do we
Exactly.
really? Do I need to go to McDonald's and get my Big Mac, my fries, and then think about whether I need to supersize my fries and my waistband? I mean, you know, again,
Jennifer,
you
the answer is yes. Right?
Well, we used to do
Again,
that.
that's comfort.
That was a
I
habit.
like how I was trying to be esoteric and, you know, very Gandhi-esque, but it's always yes. Exactly.
Yeah, the answer is yes.
I
Like
know.
if you're a 15-year-old boy and you eat 5 meals a day,
They're all
right?
chips.
Well, of everything, right? Of everything, you can't have enough. You can't have enough options. Right?
Oh, amen. I know my daughter's 29 and my son is 26, and I remember those days
Yeah,
in the basement just mowing down
yeah.
like a John Deere, you know,
Jen,
you know,
like a John Deere.
in the farm fields, right? And now my son is discussing with my daughter delicious kale salad recipes, and I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, what happened to like
Yeah, salad.
that of like pizza? Oh my god! Honestly,
You know what I did, Jennifer, is my son was going through so many baked goods, right? Is I bought flour and I bought cookie mix, and I said, if you want cookies, you have to make them. And that worked. He
That's so
made them,
80s, but that sounds cool too.
Yeah.
yeah. It seems to have slowed down the consumption of baked goods. If he has to make them himself, it's a lot of work, right? So.
obviously, that's the first Mother's Day card I got from my son once he moved out of the home. How did you manage to cook for us and do all the things that you did? I come home from work, I'm so tired. I go, well, that's because you're lazy, right? You know, if you have to get stuff done, you get it done.
Yeah.
Like,
See,
I'm
friends,
so tired.
I'm really after that. Like, I'm curious. Like, if I don't know if there is an after to this pandemic or if there will be others, I don't know. But are we gonna end up with realizing that there is more than we could do about shopping? Not only going and choosing the chips we want out of like 20 chips varieties, but like put on more responsibility on purchasing things and making sure we give time to production and all that. Do you think that's coming after COVID-19 pandemic?
No, there's a lot of studies done by survivors of the Holocaust who, because of what they went through in the concentration camps, they covered their furniture in plastic. They rationed their food. It was a mindset that stayed with them. And I don't think people will have lived long enough, or everybody has had the same experience to make that hardship stay in their head to remember it.
And being Italian, along the same lines of Jennifer, you know what? And I say this all the time, like my parents, you know what, met and married in Toronto, but the thing was that they didn't come with money. They worked very hard to have everything. So because they worked so hard and they had in the beginning so little, but eventually once you get something, you treasure it so. Like, you know, I'm Italian, like, you know, there was the dining room that was, I call it the showpiece, and it's so unfortunate, right? But you know what, I know how hard my parents worked to achieve that, and it should live, you know, that should last forever. So I think just, yeah, I think like our generation, because I think we're maybe in and around the same ages, but I just think that no, like our attitudes are different. So I think we have the beautiful that we can forget. We forget and we move on.
Yeah.
So I think once this is to some degree, or once we learn the new normal, then we will just carry on. I think, you know, we'll carry on, and, you know, but maybe this is the sign that, you know, like perhaps there's going to be, what's the next pandemic? What, you know, we need to prepare, right? But right now, let's get through this one first.
Yeah, but when you know, in the news, they've spoken to a lot of people who are survivors of the Great Depression, the other depression, Wall Street, and so on and so forth, and they have lived through something traumatic, and they bring that forward to today. So they are already in pandemic mode because they lived through the depression. They know how to conserve. They know how to shop properly. They know how to buy potatoes over cheesies, right? They've lived through it, and I don't know if you know, the generation today, millennials, will have absorbed enough of this to change their mindset, to recalibrate their instant gratification need for certain things. I don't know. Only time will tell, right? Because you forget, the mind forgets. As soon as you're not living in panic mode, you forget, because the brain can't stay there. So you go back and remember, right? But only, you know, people who've lived through something horrific for a very long time, because it's become a pattern of thought, does it stay with you? And I don't know. As, you know, Lucia says, some people will stay and will continue on certain things that work, and other people won't. It'll be a personal thing, but I don't think it'll be a global thing. Hard. It takes 7 weeks to learn a habit. It takes 14 weeks to unlearn a habit.
Thank you, Jennifer. Jay,
She's my encyclopedia.
Well,
Jay, do you have anything to share about this? Because I'm gonna end the recording after we finish this.
Yeah, okay.
You can continue after the recording too, but go ahead.
I think Jennifer reminded me of something. I think, you know, I talk to as well a lot of young adults, and I think that many of the people I'm associating with see this as kind of a blip. You know, well, we'll get back to normal. You know, since the mid-March, you know, we'll get back to normal in April, and then we'll get back to normal in May and June and September and so on. And I think a lot of younger people have never lived without money. You know, any kind of money trouble has been very, very temporary, and it's been a long time since anyone has really run out of money in a dramatic way. So where I'm connecting with Jennifer is I'm amazed at the food delivery that's taking place. Right, people ordering food. You know, not shopping, but just ordering $30, $50, $100 worth of food, paying delivery charges. I'm astounded at that because money is finite, right? I mean, if people aren't working, you know, there's only so many $50 bills you can put out on delivered food that costs so much more than food that you bought at the grocery store. You know,
But that's gonna stick.
McDonald's. Jennifer probably hasn't had McDonald's in a long time, but the sound of it, you know, for me and my son, McDonald's is about $27, right? McDonald's. Right?
McDonald's, yeah.
So yeah, so it's not really hard to spend $50 or $100 on delivered on prepared food. You know, it really doesn't amount. It's not good either. You know, it's not, it's not really nice or anything. So, but the food delivery businesses are busy. They're mostly fast food and pizza and so on. And I have a sense that money is a finite resource, and I want to be careful for myself and people I talk to. You know, those $100 bills kind of vanish, right?
But do you?
And I'm in a good business too, right? I'm not worried, but I think everyone should be thinking about.
But that food delivery, that's going to stick, because there's going to be such a loss of, like, there's going to be restaurants that are not going to recover, and which that's fine. And then the restaurants that are there, it's going to be years before their capacity is being cut down. So people are going to say, well, we just order in. We'll just order in, and you know what? They'll have their food at home. So they're still like, and when you say about, and I'm not going to say millennials, but let's say that 30 something, like I just think that they live check to check. So right now they're surviving with CERB, which is very nice, this $2,000. But if that CERB wasn't there, what would happen?
Well, give up their iPhone.
For me, the one thing that I think if I take anything away from this is, like, I'm grateful that I've got a little bit of money put aside in my bank, so that, but if I was living check to check, I think I would be very nervous. I would be very nervous about the future and what's to come.
Would you be ordering drive-in food?
No, everything, first of all, no, I make every stitch of food that goes into my mouth. No, I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I don't know who's making the food. I don't know who's delivering it. So I'll be honest with you, even a pizza, I am scared. You know how that lady said she's scared to go to Costco? I'm scared to death. I would love to have something else. But you know what? No, right now I trust. I know I'm making it myself, so I trust that what I'm eating is I've been making, right? So no, I don't trust. They're not making a dime on me.
Jay, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
You were talking about the increase in people ordering in food. Do you think those people cooked before the pandemic and they're ordering in food because it's stress and it's easy, or those people didn't cook and they're just continuing on in that way, or it's people who are families and they're so stressed out and so on and so forth, it's just a convenience? Because I'm like Lucy, I cook everything I eat. It's just what I do. So
I think it's entertainment. I think it's a new form of entertainment. I think that my son, his friends, he's only 15, but I think everyone's bored. Maybe we're old enough to be entertained, but I think if you're under 30, life is tedious right now. And so a sort of entertainment, of a bit of variety, is to have some food come in, and it's like a little bit of a tiny bit of a party.
Right.
Just something.
A treat. It's like a treat.
Yeah, it's like a treat. Yeah. It's like you cook for yourself. Okay. So there's no surprise about that. So it's a treat. You open the package and all that kind of stuff. I think it's similar to online shopping as well. People are buying things online now, and I think you open the box and it's kind of fun. I think so.
Yes, I get very excited when the Amazon box arrives. I've never done Amazon. I've ordered now my crackers from Amazon.
So who is more excited? Are you more excited, or is your dog more excited when the box is in?
No, my dog doesn't care.
He would if there were treats in it for him, you big bad meanie.
Please, my dog is so spoiled. My dog
so
is
friends,
super spoiled.
Yeah, we'll
let
see.
me stop the recording. We can stick around for a bit too, but I would like to thank you all for your comments, questions, participations. We were talking about shopping before and after COVID-19. I appreciate all your input, and I think I will be catching some good points to make a TikTok video now, which I am super excited to discover. I'm trying to think like teenagers to make life easier for myself. And I will be hunting some of the things that you have said. I took notes. So I'm looking forward to share that with you later. Thank you for joining today.
Thank
See you
you.
next
Thank
time.
you.
Much
you.
for the topic.
Bye.
Bye.